Yo, what's going on, homies? Shichibokai Stumped back from the OPTC video, and in today's video, we're diving back to some PvP action with a Cerebral-based team. And you have a request on one of the comments to actually build out a Cerebral team. See how they rock now with obviously Mihawk being added to the mix. We've got Sabo added to the mix. We've got 10th anniversary Shanks who came out a while ago. Usopp Lilith are also buffing Cerebral characters too. So I can't remember the person's name. If you are watching this video, post yourself in the comments, and I'll actually pin the comment. That sounds like a lot of fun. But Cerebrals are on the rise, man. Like, they are actually getting a little bit better. They're not there yet, in my opinion. I did use them before Championship, and I was actually pleasantly surprised of how well they were actually operating. But moving into this Champion season, I don't know if like the rule set kind of helped them a little bit, or the rule set is sort of helping the bigger teams now. And it's kind of struggling a little bit. So taking you to the challenge fights, we're going to take on a couple of the big boppers. Not like the big boppers, but a couple of them. Because Cerebrals can actually get it done. They've got Nami Karina at their disposal. They've got Usopp Lilith, who can do a lot of special rollback. We've got a lot of nerfing going on too, with defense down, special reverse cooldown. So that's a lot of fun as well. And then we got some damage dealers in Mihawk with his the new release from the Zoro celebration, as well as Sabo and Sol, who can actually do some damage too. I'm going to chop and change the team a little bit as the video goes on, because like with Mihawk, I'm not super impressed with Mihawk's damage. I thought it was going to be a little bit more. I always knew 1.3 was a little bit low, but the fact that it hit all enemies, I thought that was going to be really, really strong, and obviously bypassing defense is really, really good. So I thought that was going to be a little bit nicer than it actually is, but unfortunately, the damage on paper, compared to the actual damage you see, is a little bit different. But obviously at 150, super special at 1.7, like that is going to change things a lot. And that's obviously going to make the character a lot nicer and a lot easier to use, because his passive isn't really buffing like too much besides attack and stuff like that. But when he gets to get helped out with the special rollbacks and the defensive drops from Nami Karina and Usopp Lilith, you can actually see him pop off early and then get his super special off and around the second time. So he's very, very strong, and he's pretty much all that damage for this team. Sol can be a bit of damage if you're at the right HP threshold. Sabo has some pretty good threshold, some pretty good damage as well. But Cat Viper and his level limit break and his buff, that's the one where I really want to see how it operates with Mihawk, because if we get that 50% HP cut off and then Mihawk goes, especially with that super special, most of the time we're going to be seeing a board wipe, and the entire team's basically just going to die. This is where Mihawk shines his best. Obviously getting that 1.7, 9,000 damage is very, very good, because it does bypass defense and it's very, very stable. So we're going to try and do that that Cat Viper trick that I just spoke about. We're going to go up against the Slasher team. We're going to see how Mihawk operates after a 50% HP cut from Cat Viper. Cat Viper's buffs are actually ridiculously strong because of the straight power that he brings to that crazy 50% HP cut. He also gets like a massive buff with defensive stacks, as well as HP as well for Cerebral characters. He buffs Strikers as well, and I've been trying to do some stuff with Strikers since I pulled Sword, but I haven't been super impressed with them as an offensive team. I think as a defensive team, Strikers are definitely going to shine. Cerebrals, I could honestly shine as a defensive team too, very stally, getting some late game damage and stuff like that. But I wanted to sort of try and put them in a very offensive point of view, because that's like the best way to sort of run these particular videos. So Usopp Lilith and Nami Karina 99% of the time will go as your first units, and this is great because it allows you to just have all your characters go before Mihawk, who is on a disgustingly high cooldown, and then once that happens, Mihawk can actually hit through defense. So we got the 50% HP cut. It is in a large range. It's not in like a hitting all enemy range, but it can still work against majority of teams, especially when we do go so quickly, because of the amount of cooldown reduction we give to the enemy, or like negative cooldown reduction, I should say. The downside I have been finding to this Cerebral build is once you sort of hit this 60-second mark and you have popped all your specials, you're in a bit of a weird situation of wanting to get your specials back. Usopp Lilith or Nami Karina will usually get their special back pretty quickly, but the problem there is that if they don't actually go up the order and the enemy does actually get their specials off, you're going to be in for a really, really rough time, as they're just basically going to pop off and throw everything at you. You might lose a few characters here and there, which can be a little bit of a problem, but the bench is actually still pretty strong too, with the buffs that even Kovgov, we have got an Inuyasuma as well, being a very, very good bench nuking character on at the back end there as well. So if you can get this sort of rollback to continually pop over with Usopp Lilith and Nami Karina, like, you won't ever really be in a bad spot. But I can see positions where if you are sort of just trying to board wipe the enemy with that Mihawk shot and it doesn't work, you end up in a really bad position and they kill your Mihawk, then you sort of just lose a lot of the damage output that you are sort of trying to go for there. So overall though, like, the damage that Mihawk provides, it's okay, but like I said, it has been a little bit lackluster in my opinion, and I was expecting more from the character when I first read his kit. When I was using him on the Slash team, I was like, oh well, like that's that's kind of it. Like, is that all that he's doing? Because I was kind of expecting him to sort of hit just that little bit harder, but nevertheless, he brings damage to a team that definitely needed the damage. So that's definitely a positive as well. The amount of defensive drops too, you can actually bring characters like Uta and Shanks now, the Super Tandem Shanks, the quick one. You can definitely bring those types of units along because you're getting so many defensive drops, the damage output you're getting from these types of characters can be very, very valuable. And it's something that we'll actually do when we take on the strength variation, I believe. We actually bring Shanks with the 20 cost Uta, who's a very, very good option to sort of just get that full passive popping off thanks to the Shanks passive needing either Uta or Yasop or some sort of character like that. Alright, and for the final challenge fight, we're actually going to go up against the strength fight, which is one of the bigger boppers, in my opinion. The slasher one's actually a pretty big bopper as well, but you start comparing like these fights to the new Driven Powerhouse build that came out for Doflamingo, then like, yeah, you can't really compare them, for they're kind of like chalk and cheese, because that Driven Powerhouse one that's a ridiculous fight. But look, in saying that too, the slasher one, it's still very hard. This one's still very, very hard, and being able to get it done with the Cerebral team was actually refreshing. It's nice to see like some of these like newer teams sort of beating some of these older challengers. We all know that these older challengers can be a bit of a bitch, and on top of the fact that they have been out for just a little while, means that we should be getting like teams that can just competently beat them. But as you can see here, we are bringing the Uta, 20 cost Uta from the PKA shop on the bench, and we have Shanks in the front. As I mentioned, I was finding that the Mihawk damage was just a little bit lackluster, and I was struggling a little bit to sort of get that full board wipe that I was looking for. Again, once Mihawk pops up on regular banners, on tickets and stuff like that, it's going to be a lot easier to do. But in saying that, I do want to get that now. So we managed to get very lucky, and we have the super special of Mihawk ready to go. So after we get that 50% HP cut of Cat Viper, we get the damage output from Shanks. Mihawk, especially with the super special, should be able to kill like the entire team, right? This 1.7 times his attack, bypasses defensive effects, hitting for 10,000, still doesn't kill Luffy. Still, I think Luffy avoided both Shanks and Cat Viper though. The fact that he still has that much HP is so goddamn alarming, man. Like, it's so crazy to see what they actually do with this particular event, and how they just give straight buffs to these particular units. Especially like when you have like Kuma coming off the bench, Ace coming off the bench, the wifey's coming off the bench. Pretty damn crazy. But we actually just board wiped pretty much the entire team, which basically put us in a good stead to just sort of win from here. So that's the Cerebral team. Shoutouts for the recommendation. If you guys have any other recommendations of teams that you guys want to see with characters, slap them down below. I'd be happy to sort of give it a whirl and see how that team actually performs. Obviously, like, not every team is going to perform super well. And look, the video might not come out. Like, if you try and propose like a real shitty team, I'm probably not going to do the video. But if you guys have any ideas, let me know in the comment section below. While you're down there, bell like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. Most importantly, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Let's